The political witch hunt continues. Anyone associated with Trump or the MAGA movement is not safe under the Biden regime. The left continues to weaponize the law time and time again, and no one, aside from Trump, has suffered more political persecution than America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani, the man who helped save this country after the 9/11 terror attacks, after a judge ordered Giuliani even to pay a ridiculous $150 million to a pair of Georgia election workers. Giuliani has now officially been disbarred in New York. Think about this. Not only was Giuliani the mayor of New York City, he was Trump's legal advisor. As district attorney, Giuliani also single-handedly, he took down the mob. Here to discuss this latest politically motivated attack, the man himself, America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani. Mayor, I mean, they raided your home, right? Remember that? They destroyed your reputation. They called you a liar about Hunter's laptop. We now know it was real. Are you afraid?
Right.
Now they disbarred you here in New York. Are you afraid? I know you're a brave guy, but are you afraid of what they could do to you next?
Well, I'm not afraid. I mean, look, they want to put me in prison for the rest of my life between Georgia and Arizona. They just put my good friend Steve Bannon in prison this morning. I mean, I don't think the American people realize the incredible fascism of the Democrat Party. And what the Bar Association did to me, I didn't even, when I got a call today and my lawyer told me that they disbarred me, I said, I'm surprised they took so long. I mean, I didn't expect any other result from a Democrat-controlled court, a Democrat-controlled Bar Association, ideologically and politically. Look, they are completely complicit in the crooked court system we have in New York. We don't have the one thing that the Trump case, my case, other cases reveal is we have a crooked court system in New York. The hearing officer in this case comes from that crooked court system. The prosecutor in this case presented me with tapes that are 1/3 altered. And he didn't bother to tell us. Myself and my assistant found it. And then he didn't know who altered it. Nor did the judge do anything about it. It either was altered by the Secretary of State in Atlanta, who's just been removed from the Election Commission, but nobody reports that. Or it was done by the crooked prosecution staff. The judge who presided over this case had decided the case before I started. She was hostile. She was nasty. She looked at her cell phone more than she looked at me. She contradicted half the things I said. The whole case was started by a political activist into a Democrat one-party controlled system, which is what we just saw Trump get hurt with Mershon and Engoron. They're not really judges. They're appointees of the Democratic leader in Manhattan. They didn't even have opponents at trial. Engoron ran 3 times without an opponent, the way you did in the Soviet Union. So to think that we have a fair court system in New York, it's about 200 years of Tammany Hall, the way they run the court system, and this Bar Association is complicit in the political leaders selecting our judges, not us. They've been complicit in it for years, and they do nothing about what they know is a crooked court system. Gerrymandering. Look what they did with the State Court of Appeals just a little while ago. Bar Association goes along with it because they're a bunch of left-wing Democrats.
And we know that they are working in coordination with the Biden regime. We saw it in Trump's criminal case that the lead prosecutor, he was the number 3 guy in the DOJ, and then he goes and joins the local DA. You know, people don't realize this. You've known Joe Biden for a very long time. The Joe Biden you knew then, right? People don't know that. You've known Joe Biden for a very long time.
1981, I met him. I was introduced to him by a law school classmate of him as the dumbest guy in his law school class. He didn't say it in front of Joe, but he said it to me. And he told me all about how he
deteriorate like this. Wow, so he cheated in law school. What do you think about the fact that now everybody, the other half of the country, is waking up to the fact that Joe Biden is a feeble shell of himself?
Well, what about national security? Nobody even talks about that. I don't give a damn about the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is the party of slavery and the party right now of oppression in New York. We're a one-party system. It might as well be the Communist Party in New York for the crookedness that they impose on New York. Except when you've had a Republican mayor like me or Bloomberg, this is a completely crooked Democrat machine, right down to the Supreme Court justices who are appointed by the Democratic leaders, and then we have a make-believe election. The Bar Association empowers that and approves it. So you think they're not going to disbar me if they get the chance? They wouldn't be able to go back to their law firm if they didn't vote to disbar me. They get thrown out of their law firm, just like you can't get a lawyer that'll represent you because the law firms will throw them out. We have something going on that is the worst deprivation of rights we've ever had in America under Biden, who might as well be a fascist. Actually, what he is a senile old man. So you imagine what our enemies and our almost enemies were thinking when they watched that moron perform on television. I mean, it isn't a joke. It's extremely serious. It's the reason we're at war. It's the reason hundreds of thousands of people died in Ukraine, because we was foolish enough to elect that senile old man, and they covered up. They covered up the hard drive, and they covered up his senility.
Well, Mayor Giuliani, we have to leave it right there. I pray for you. I pray for our nation. And thank you so much for joining us.
Don't worry. God is with us.
Absolutely.